So I may declare Fridays Blog Post Fridays because it seems like that's the day where everything's really chill and really calm. And according to my schedule, I only have, well, I can't, never mind. I have an all day class on Fridays usually, but we'll see how it goes. Maybe I'll post next week's from my homestay. But I'm in Australia. The weather is gorgeous. You can see I'm not wearing sleeves. It is so wonderful. Um, yeah, I'm still experiencing some intense jet lag. I'm sleepy. I went to bed at 9:30 2 nights ago when we landed. And then last night we went to bed at 11, not by our own decision, but by public transportation decisions. Um, and yeah, so I've just been orientation, eating things. They've been feeding us nonstop here. Like every time I turn around, they're shoving more food down our gullets. And I'm just like, I can't handle all this food. But I eat it anyway because I am a foodie and I love food. So I've discovered so many things while I've been here. The whole driving on the west side of the road freaks me out because I don't know what's happening. They have roundabouts in the middle of the street. There's just so much. I made an entire list of things that I've been learning, like, since I've got here. Like, number one, the toilets are different. Like, the toilet has two uh, plungers to flush things. So the first one is when you go number one, and the second one is when you go number two. So they have two different ones for different water efficiencies, and I guess because they have a lot of droughts here, so they're trying to figure out ways to conserve water, and that's one of them. Also, their plugs have on and off switches. So like you have to plug it in and then turn it on. Because if you turn it on and then try to plug it in, you'll shock yourself. And when it's off, you save electricity. So it doesn't matter if anything's plugged in or not. As long as the plug's off, you save electricity. Isn't that amazing? Gosh, what else am I learning? Okay, breakfast is called brekkie, which is awesome because I love breakfast. And sandwiches are called sengers. Like today we had something called a banger on a senger, which was like a sausage on a piece of bread, but it was delicious. Also, when they barbecue, they really barbecue. Like it doesn't matter if they're barbecuing for breakfast, for lunch, or for dinner. They put out barbecue sauce. Like yesterday for breakfast, I went up and I was getting like an English muffin and I put an egg on it and I went to go get some like ketchup and I picked up some barbecue sauce and I was like, why is this happening? Like, it's a barbecue. You can't barbecue without barbecue sauce. And I'm like, on my egg? And they're like, yeah, it's awesome. So I'm like, all right, so do as the Romans do, or do these the Aussies do. And I scored it, and it was fantastic. So there are a lot of things I've been eating, like sweet chili sauce and sour cream mixed together. Apparently that's really delicious. So I just learned about that. And there are just so many things that are happening here that's like blowing my mind. I've only been here for 3 days. So, gosh, what else has been happening that I could just shove into this blog post? Well, let's do service placements. So today we had a meeting about service placements because we were supposed to do 35 hours a week of service. And I got assigned the Hillsong Church, the street team. So I was really excited because I was like, I didn't even choose that, but it sounds so awesome. So we went to a meeting today. And the first thing I learned was, well, in America, it's all about the numbers. As much as people are like, oh, it's not about the numbers. Church is all about the numbers. Whether it's a mega church, whether it's a tiny church. Like, when you talk about your church, one of the first things you say is how many people are in it. So, naturally, I bring my American mindset to Australia. And sometimes I'm a little embarrassed because I asked him, because there are like 3 different campuses in Sydney, and one is like the city and one is the hills. And he said the hills was bigger. So, my next natural response was, how many people are in like the hills? And he was like, well, Hillsong Church, we don't do numbers. He's like, you'll never see any of our staff, any of our like volunteer, anyone talking about numbers, like how many people we bring in. It's all about the community. It's all about the love, and we all feel like it's about the one individual, which was awesome to me. I mean, it didn't help me because I personally like smaller churches. But I'm like, you know what? That's an awesome mindset. I mean, it's insane that churches in America that we're so concerned about. Oh, I have 1,000 people in my church. Oh, I have 10,000 people in my church. Oh, I run a mega church. Oh, mega churches are awful. Like, why are we so worried about the numbers? And that's one thing I learned. Like, just listening to him speak, I'm like, why are we so concerned about how many people come to our church on Sundays? Like, yes, Jesus said, go out and be fishers of men. But he didn't say, go out and be fishers of 10,000 men. Go out and be fishers of 100 men. He said, go out and be fishers of men. So it's just like, go out and be fishermen. Don't worry about how much you catch your net. Just go out and be a fisherman. So that's what I learned today, like in like 30 minutes of service placement talk. So I was like, my mind was like, blowing my mind all over the place. Okay, what else have I learned that I was super excited about? Like yesterday, we went on a tour around the city in a boat. And there were Finding Nemo jokes, abundance, on this boat because it's the best show ever. There's no P. Sherman 42 Wallaby Way Sydney here, unfortunately, because we asked and they said no. So unfortunately, that's one of the movie's inaccuracies, but still a great movie. If you haven't seen it, I suggest you go out and see it. Anyway, we're on this boat. We went on a tour of Sydney, saw the Opera House at night, saw the bridge at night, saw it at sunset. Like, it was beautiful. It was a really good time. And it was nice, and it wasn't too cold, it wasn't too hot, the water was not rough. There were sharks everywhere, but we couldn't really see the sharks. They didn't really come up and jaws our boat and stuff. So it was pretty awesome. And like I said, I am in a homestay. I love our host mom. She's so sweet. Like, I don't even know how old she's she has to be in her late 40s, but she's so sweet. Like, I guess not that people in the late 40s can't be sweet, but she's just a sweetheart. Like, she is like instantly became like one of our moms, and she was worried about us because we were taking public transportation home, and she was so happy when we made it. When we came in, she was like, in her little Aussie accent, she's like, I bought you guys lunch boxes. By the way, this Aussie accent sucks because I'm American, but she was like, I got you guys lunch boxes, and gave us like little things of Tupperware because I live on a commuter campus now, and I can't get lunch in like a dining hall because there is no dining hall. This school has 400 people. 400 people. That's insane. That's slightly bigger than my high school. Slightly. So I'm just like, there's so little people here. And it's so tough being a commuter because I'm always super worried about everything. I'm always super worried that I left something, or like I'm not going to have time, because I live like about a half hour away by bus. So I'm just like, I'm not going to be able to get back in time. And I'm always here like, did I leave something? No, I didn't. Yes, I did. No, I didn't. So it's been an up and down roller coaster. I commend anyone who is a hardcore commuter who goes back and forth like that, because I can't, and I won't after this. I'll live much closer to campus. I'm just so stressed out all the time. This country is completely laid back, which is completely different from my style of life. I'm very like uptight, not uptight, but I guess I'm really like type A personality. Things have to go exactly like this, and everyone here is just like, see what happens. Let's go. Like, there's so many insane things. But I just love this place. It's such a nice break. Not from work, but it's just such a nice break from like the American culture, and I love being around all the Aussies. Like, they're so nice, and they're just so like genuine, and they're just really real, and I love that about them. And they just have, I don't know, I just can't wait to learn about the culture and everything. It's just funny because last night we were talking to these two girls, and like halfway through our conversation they just stopped. They were like, I love your accents, and I'm like, I love your accent. Are you serious? Like, this is not an accent. This is normal. Like, I wish I could put on Aussie ears for a couple of days and hear what everyone in my group sounds like, because like, I just don't hear an accent, and I only pick up theirs. No, I hear theirs, but like I start speaking in Aussie accent when they speak to me. So when they're like directly talking to me, and I'll say things and like little words will slip out, and I'm like, ooh, that's not me. That's not my accent. Like, bring back the American, or not. I'm A-okay with leaving this country with a full-fledged Aussie accent, calling breakfast brekkie, and saying things like bangers and sengers and all that good stuff. I found out McDonald's is called Macca's. They call McDonald's like Macca's. Like, and instead of saying like, how's it going, they say, nope. Instead of saying, how are you doing, they say, how are you going? Which is funny. And I think I approve. And their yield signs are so crazy. Their yield signs aren't like, they don't say yield. They say give way. So I'm just like, what is this continent that I've landed on? It's so great, except for the 2 spiders that I've seen. I'm so upset. Like, the first day, we were only here for about 8 hours, and I saw 2 spiders in one day. And I was like, I don't. And then I had a bad dream about spiders. So it's been a little rough, and everything that touches me, I feel like, is huntsman spider, because apparently those hang out around campus sometimes, even though they like to hang up in the ceiling. I was like, I don't care. They hang out places. So I'm going to run from the room screaming like a little girl. But this video is running kind of long, and I apologize. I'm not even sure if it's going to upload to YouTube. I hope it does. But I love you guys, and let's just update how everything's going. I might post one. I probably will post one next week once classes start, because that should be fun. Like, I'm switching some of my classes around. I might take a psychology class while I'm here, and it should be a blast. I hope it's a blast. Oh my gosh. I hope I'm not too stressed out. We already had to shop for school supplies and cell phones, and there was just, yeah. But this weekend, I'm going to Hillsong to do some service placement. I may go to another church, and it's called Awesome Church. Right? So that might happen. And yeah, it should be fun. It should be fun. This should be a good 4 months. Like, I'm really excited to see what God does in me and what God does in my group. Like, what I learn, what I see, and hopefully come back like change like this worldview that's like, what is happening? Like, ready to like kick America into shape. So, alright, that's it. I love you guys, and I will talk to you soon.